All right, let's do this last thing for the day.
Are we? Ooh, cover up the mouth.
What? Huh? You better not drip on my DC Universe Rebirth #1. Our friendship would not survive it. No, I'm kidding.
There's one right there. I'm just saying. All right, so welcome everybody to the YouTube channel, Print and Panel Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us again. We really appreciate it.
You guys here
on YouTube? Is it too much sucking up? Is it too much sucking up?
No, I really think that YouTube has enjoyed...
No. If you're going to... No, come on. If you're going to be out here, you're going to be out here. So this is, if you haven't said, this is Richard Davis. He's the owner of Toronto Comics. He's the one that graciously lets us record here. So...
I'll just stand back here and make funny faces.
I've only dropped a couple things off the wall.
So I know, right? So we have 3 funny faces.
So, yes, this is Richard, everybody. You gotta get a big round of applause.
Woo! No, we'll be talking to Richard again in the future.
Yes, Richard has a project coming up that we're not gonna tell anybody what it is. But there's a project, so we'll come back. We'll do a special interview with him too. So,
but if you see Richard walk around in the background, just thumbs up Richard as he walks by.
Yeah, so just people doing things.
Do your thing, man. They don't care. We're not exactly pros here. All right, so I really think YouTube has enjoyed. No, we've never been pros.
I thought we said we were pros, like the first thing. Okay, no, we're going.
Prostitutes and pros are 2 different things.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
My mistake.
So I really think YouTube has enjoyed our How Did We Get Here?
Yes.
I think this has been a particularly valuable thing during the COVID-19 outbreak. I think it's been a lot of fun to do these. And we are finally breaking ground on Rebirth, moving closer and closer to current continuity for DC Comics. It's been a lot of fun to talk about this. So, guys, for you out there on YouTube who have liked this, shared this, commented, absolutely thank you. Shout out to my buddy Kevin, who has given me fantastic feedback in talking to me about the podcast. I don't get that as much as Garen does because I don't have people that come into the store and go, "Hey, I want to see your podcast." Yeah.
Well, what's really cool is we have to shout out to Ben Myers because Ben Myers is a very loyal follower. He follows the YouTube channel, but of course he follows the podcast as well. Thank you so much because really because you're saying Ben has given us really good comments and quite frankly we have listened to those comments and he's made suggestions. Our friend Whitney, who's now on the podcasting network with us, also has made some great suggestions. We're listening to those. So yeah, please tell us what you think. If it's too long or too boring or we're not wearing silly enough outfits, you know.
One last important shout out, Rob Liefeld.
Yeah. Being the complete ass that he really is.
We're gonna be able to roast you, and I don't think anybody's listening to us just for the roast, but I really appreciate you being the just genuine scumbag that you seem to be. And you may not be. Maybe you're perfectly
scumbag too far.
No,
just online jerk. That's really all it has
troll.
To be. Troll. That's a good one.
Professional troll.
Have you seen what we do in the shadows yet for the troll thing?
No.
It's pretty funny. It's pretty awesome.
I haven't.
So we're going to talk.
Let's boot the recording part.
But today we're going to talk about Rebirth.
Yeah. So he hurt our feelings, so I'm going to roast him forever.
Okay, we're good with that.
Yeah. Hi guys, I'm David.
And I'm Garen.
And we are here to record How Did We Get Here for the DC Universe. It's so bad. It's so bad.
Books right here. Okay.
Well, let's move it up here so that we
can. Far away?
So that I can open this comic book that we're talking about. You don't need the digital. I've got this one right here.
Right. But see, the people who are watching on YouTube can see that we're doing Rebirth #1.
I mean, we could just. Oh yeah, I guess yours has the whole splash.
So what was so special? Why do we even care about this book?
It launched brand new continuity.
Because Marvel and Legacy copied it. Almost paid for it. No. Okay, wait. Ooh, did I say that out loud? I'm sorry, Marvel.
Wow.
You have to admit, though, Legacy was a pretty close, like, hey, let's just take what Rebirth did and we'll put that in ours. And they kind of did. I mean, so we had Convergence, but then we had... But then we have Multiversity.
Did you just swing on Marvel for no reason?
But it wasn't swinging on Marvel.
It was like, a total bash on Marvel.
Do something original. Come on.
I thought Wolverine with the Infinity Stone was pretty original.
I don't know. We have Watchmen in here. I'm sorry, not Watchmen. Dr. Manhattan. So the narration in this begins in yellow and red.
And when I first looked at this first page, having read the solicits, I thought, oh my God, we're getting... This is either the Comedian or Rorschach. It wasn't discombobulated enough to be Rorschach. No. But you started to see the clock. And I'm like, oh my God, they're bringing Watchmen into the main universe. This is not something that's fake. But that's not who's narrating.
No. And as you read it, you think, is it Batman? He talks about his parents dying, but then you get to the next page and you're like, you see all these things going on. You see these flashes of light, and you're like, wait, who's talking? Is this the Flash?
We go directly for Bruce,
Yes.
and he is basically fixated on the three Jokers. Now, this panel, hopefully you guys can see that really clearly. This panel right here actually shows you the faces of the three Jokers.
Yeah.
Now, from the art I've seen from Facebook, this doesn't quite match what was shown here, but there are three distinct Jokers.
Okay, so the first one you see.
I also want to throw in a caveat here. I don't think the three Jokers is going to be modern continuity. I think it's going to be set in perhaps 2 or 3 different time periods. I don't think this Joker, the in-game Joker, has changed his look yet. The face hasn't been cut off. That's my opinion. I may be totally wrong.
So this
my
first
speculation.
So do you know what the first Joker is? You know what that's from?
That's the original.
Well, it's the Joker from when the Laughing Fishes.
Yes.
When we first have the smiling laughing, the clownfish. That's that. Oops, let me go back here. Sorry. So that's what we first see there. Then we have the Killing Joker.
Without a doubt, that's who that is.
And then we have the Joker from the 52.
From in-game.
In-game. Well, yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, the in-game Joker with the shaved.
Which, we haven't got to metal yet.
Right, no.
The thing we think we're saying from memory is that the in-game Joker is dead.
Yeah, because he's the one who was in Dark Knight's Metal.
Right.
Yeah, or those are the Forge that go him in.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either. So
we're going to do a special on that, though, guys. The casting, the Forge,
the casting,
metal,
and then Metal.
All is a special.
Yeah,
so.
because that's because we have Death Metal coming up, and that's going to be pretty awesome. We're going to do a little deep dive on that.
The goal is to get through that before Death Metal drops.
So as we see Bruce, he's commenting to Alfred about the Jokers, and he says, well, there's more than one Joker? He says, yes, there's 3 Jokers.
The chair, the Mobius chair.
The Mobius chair told him there's 3 Jokers.
Metron's chair. This is why this book has value.
Right.
One of the big broken things about the New 52 was...
We had no Kid Flash.
We had no Wally West Flash. Yep. Well, we did. We had Wallace West.
Wallace. We had the other Kid Flash from the TV show.
His nephew.
He's right.
Right.
That's also his nephew. You know that, right?
Yeah.
That's Barry's nephew.
Oh, right.
Yeah. They're both Barry's nephew.
Yeah.
Which can't possibly be, but it is.
So, this splash page returns Wally West to main continuity.
Right, well, Wally's trying to contact Bruce. He thinks Bruce is the first and best person to talk to. He's like, listen, if anyone can solve this, he can solve this.
Superman went to Batman when he was dying.
Right.
Batman's the right answer. You go to Batman first.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Batman, of course, has no idea who this person is. Because
this
Batman, who went all the way through Convergence and Multiversity, has no clue who this person is. Could it be because this is one of the clones that has no information? Could it be because this is the 4th or 5th Batman to have... I mean, we don't know. I mean, we don't know why, but we do know why. In fact, by the end, we know exactly why. But, yeah, so, yeah, Wally says, hey, you just tell me you know me.
But he does set up the letter.
Yeah, the letter from Thomas Wayne.
And this letter is the letter that Thomas gives to him in Convergence.
Right.
Not Flashpoint. This is the Convergence version.
Yeah. This is the letter that Bruce gets, and he's already got it at this point when Wally appears. Mm-hmm. But Wally's like, I know why you have the letter. I know what's going on. And, of course, then we see the vignette, the story of Wally West. We see a story of how he became the Flash, all the way through Flashpoint, and now why he's gone.
That big blue bolt of lightning is a giant hint.
Yeah. That should be the big hint, yes. But it isn't always. So basically what's happened now is he says if you go too fast into the Speed Force, you could get sucked into it. You could fall into a pit. That's what's happened. He's fallen into this pit in the Speed Force.
Well, and he had been stuck in the Speed Force or stuck outside of reality. Mm-hmm. And the Darkseid War, the death of Darkseid, Anti-Monitor being overthrown...
Yeah.
All of that led to a weakening of the barriers of reality, which allowed him to escape.
He's been trying to get back the entire time. And I think what we find here is what the reality is we're starting to realize that Wally West is the fastest man alive. Not Barry, Wally.
You have to drive that point home every time.
I do, because Wally's the best. So
we move to Johnny Storm.
You know who Johnny Storm is, right?
No, wait.
Johnny Thunder.
Johnny Thunder, not Johnny Storm.
You know who Johnny Thunder? Everybody know who Johnny Thunder is?
I do not know who Johnny Thunder is.
Johnny Thunder is, he uses a magic genie to transform, and he is part of the JSA. Now, why is there no JSA at this point? Why is this man treated like he's insane? Wait,
we'll talk about that in Doomsday Clock.
We sure will. We sure will. So basically, yeah, Johnny Thunder can't save him.
So Johnny Thunder's in a retirement home, and we also find, who's she?
Saturn Girl.
Saturn Girl of the Legion.
Saturn Girl has come back in time to find Superman. Now remember, at this point, the Superman that this Earth knew is gone. He was basically burned to ash.
Right.
The new Superman, the Superman that we have all known since we've been kids, that Superman is in hiding, essentially. He doesn't want anybody to know he's there. At some point he realizes he has to, but this is Rebirth.
There's a whole bit about the Atom.
And we see Ray Palmer. He's in the microverse.
I don't know if we'll... Have we had those threads pulled?
Oh, yeah.
Have we?
There was a whole... Yeah. We see Ted Cord as
and Jaime Reyes.
Right. See, and they two don't normally appear together because they're in different kind of alternate realities. But Ted Cord is working on his Beetle bug. He is the Blue Beetle, sort of at this point. Jaime, the Blue Beetle with the scarab on his back, gets pulled away, and Dr. Fate appears. Dr. Fate's like, This is not who you think this is.
Who also is connected to the JSA.
Exactly. So we've got two JSA characters. So now what? So now we have the female Green Lantern, Jennifer, right?
Jessica Cruz.
Jessica Cruz. You see Jessica. She's talking to someone, and it's the someone he's talking to is
Pandora's gone.
Wait, hold on. And Pandora's obliterated.
Yeah. Bye.
She's talking to. Is she talking to Kyle or is it Sora?
No, that's Hal.
Is it Hal?
That's Hal.
I can't tell. You can't tell who she's talking to.
So if Captain America is the ass of America, that's the ass of the universe. That's Hal Jordan.
Okay, well, good point. So
you're welcome.
So Pandora, who has been part of this whole reality in 52 and a thorn in the side, is somehow obliterated. Who's she obliterated by? Well,
okay. Guys,
it's fairly obvious.
If you read the original Watchmen, you know what's happening.
If you watch the movie,
right
you
there.
see what's going on.
That smoke is definitive. That's
right.
Dr. Manhattan taking somebody out
Dr.
of reality.
Manhattan did that to how many characters in Watchmen? Right. So then what's crazy is now Wally goes to this weird island where he sees
Baby Darkseid.
Baby Darkseid as being, and Darkseid his daughter is giving birth to him.
Hot.
It's this is weird. So, but what's interesting too is now we see the splash page in the middle is essentially the heroes coming to figure out what's happened to Superman. All they see is...
This is literally right after Final Days of Superman. Exactly. This is right after Superman issue 50 or 52. I forget which one. This is literally the next page. That is a Wonder Woman brokenhearted at the loss of her love. I mean...
But what's interesting too, look at this though. This is not the same Wonder Woman we see going forward.
Right.
We don't see Starfire at all. Not the same Supergirl. We don't see Martian Manhunter at all going forward into this at all. Shazam is over here. Captain Marvel's here. We don't see him at all. He's gone. After this issue, everything changes. Everything is kind of like wiped and clean. We see Wild Thing, Vixen over here. Excuse me. And you've seen Beast Boy, but all these characters disappear in some way, shape, or form to be brought back later on. It's very interesting.
And someone died, Superman or I can't see him clearly for some reason. So at this point in time, our Clark has not stepped up into the mantle.
Wally only knows this Clark, the true Clark Kent, the true Superman. We see
Mr. Oz.
Yeah, Mr. Oz, who then turns out to be
Jor-El.
So that's interesting. Oz is talking to Superman, but Superman can't see his face, so he doesn't really recognize it's his father.
He looks a little more. He's a little dark-skinned in that one.
Yeah.
He looks more like Zos Lamel from Soul Calibur at this point.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, that's a cool character, and then it completely morphs into a fat old white guy later. I'm a little disappointed by that because I thought Dr. Oz was going to be this. Ooh, and it was a cool reveal.
So we see this new version of Aquaman with Mira, and it's kind of an interesting juxtaposition. We haven't seen her before. We see Linda Park And of course, what is Wally trying to do? Find his wife.
Yeah.
He wants to have his wife. He wants to have his kids back.
And she don't know who he is.
She has no clue. She has no clue who this man is. So here's Wally still trying to survive, still trying to come back.
And the fact she doesn't know who he is weakens him and
Even
allows Manhattan to throw Wally back into the Speed Force, where he then tries to reach out to Captain Boomerang. He tries to reach out to Cyborg. He tries to reach out to Dick Grayson, who Dick and Wally...
They're best friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you see Wallace West, that he tries to... He realizes that he's been replaced, functionally. We get a whole bit of story about that. And then the tear-jerking part of the story.
And this is tough to go into, and I'm not going to read every panel, but
My
basically
God.
Wally's like, listen, I know I'm not going to survive. I know I'm not going to be here anymore, but let me just tell you how much I admire you, how much I love you.
He's talking to Barry Allen.
He's talking to Barry, and then Barry's like, I don't understand. And you could see the realization on his face.
Where
Barry's
Wally?
trying. He's trying so hard to say, I know, and then just as he's about to disappear, he says, Wally, and he reaches out and grabs Wally from the Speed Force, brings him in.
Brings tears to my eyes every time I look at the page.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Because what they're saying is, and he says, how could I ever forget you? And good point. How could he ever forget him? But he was made to be forgotten by...
Dr. Manhattan.
Dr. Manhattan's been messing with this universe for a long time. We just never really put these two pieces together until now.
And again, Blue Lightning. And then we go back to Batman.
He looks at the Joker card.
Who has been trying to figure out this.
He looks back at the letter from his father.
And this is the final page.
And he sees something has been buried in the wall. He digs it out. And of course, it's
Comedian's button.
Now, of course, he has no idea who the comedian is. That's not a thing. It's there's no idea what's going on.
There are so many beautiful threads in that one comic.
So a lot of people, they may have this in a book of some sort. My recommendation, if you don't have this copy, it's not that expensive. It's $50 to $60. Highly recommend buying a copy when you can, because this is going to be important going forward into the next part of the universe. Because now again, this is DC Universe Rebirth, not Batman Rebirth, not Superman Rebirth. All those things are their own individual rebirth version. But this is pretty epic for what it did. And to make fun a little bit of Marvel, Legacy is in a lot of ways very similar to this, because they're basically what they were doing is they're creating the new
trying
Legacy.
to find a way to reboot. But see, they don't have a Watchmen property.
Right. It was much tougher for Marvel to do this, because here's the thing: they didn't technically have to reboot after Secret Empire. They had to get everything collected back together to explain what's going to go forward. But this is just like what they did with Incoming. Incoming explains, hey, this is what we're doing going forward in this universe.
Right.
So same kind of concept. DC did it very, very well.
And if we hadn't already broke down the entire Incoming issue, we would have.
Yeah, we
would have done a special. There's just no point doing a rehash.
We could re-release it, I guess, if you want to. But I mean, there's no point at this point. It's easy to find. But no, Rebirth is pretty amazing, and
this is the key to a lot of threads. So, guys, what's coming up? We're going to do the Button special. We're going to do Doomsday Clock. We're going to do Metal.
Yep.
There's probably a couple of other events.
Probably do Metal, but then Doomsday Clock. We could do Heroes in Crisis if you wanted to.
We should do Heroes in Crisis.
And what's interesting about all these...
Flash Forward.
All these are interconnected in some way, shape, or form, and Flash Forward is that big, big deal. Flash Forward will set the tone probably for the next year or two with the universe.
So we're 5 or 6 specials from being totally caught up on DC. I hope you guys have enjoyed every recording.
Yeah.
A lot of fun to kind of map this out.
Yeah.
I joked when we started this that we needed to get us a pegboard and red yarn and thumbnail images, and
we would need a pegboard about 300 or
about that
400
size.
feet wide.
If we just did that.
Yeah,
that would have been right. So
this has been a lot of fun doing, guys, and it's sometimes you go back and reread things and you're like, oh man, this was amazing. How did I miss this?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Rebirth is still one of my favorite things ever.
Yeah.
So thanks so much for listening, guys, and
remember, go roast Rob Liefeld.
Dr. Erica Levko, are you?
Nope. He done messed up.
My vendetta has begun.
We're still recording on that one.
That's fine. I mean,
yeah.
they know.
They know.
So your vendetta has... It is. He does.